Welcome back to our channel, English with Ethan. Today, we begin a new journey into one of the most iconic symbols of freedom and hope in the world, the Statue of Liberty. In this video, we will explore the history of the Statue of Liberty in 6 easy parts. So let's begin with part 1. The idea is born. A long time ago, in the 1800s, France and the United States were 2 countries with a strong friendship. They both believed in freedom and democracy. The idea that people should have rights and they should choose their leaders. In France, there was a man named Édouard René de La Boulaye. He was a French thinker and professor. He loved the idea of American freedom. He believed that France should give a gift to the United States, something special and meaningful. He wanted to celebrate the 100 years of America's independence, which began in 1776. So, in 1865, he suggested a grand idea. France would give the United States a giant statue that represented freedom. This idea was exciting. Many people supported it. But building a big statue was not easy. It needed a design, money, time, and teamwork. Then came Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi, a famous French sculptor. He was chosen to design this statue. He wanted it to be big, very big, something people could see from far away. He started drawing designs and thinking about the shape, the size, and the meaning of this statue. He decided to make it a woman holding a torch. This woman would stand tall and proud. She would wear a long dress and a crown with 7 spikes, one for each continent and ocean, to show that freedom is for everyone in the world. Her name would be Liberty Enlightening the World, or simply the Statue of Liberty. But now came the hard part, building the statue and paying for it. France would build the statue. The United States would build the pedestal, the base where the statue would stand. Both countries had to raise money. In France, people gave donations. In the US, a man named Joseph Pulitzer, yes, the same man from the famous Pulitzer Prize, started a campaign. He used his newspaper to ask everyday people to give even a few cents to help build the pedestal. And the people responded. School children, shopkeepers, workers. They all gave what they could. By this time, Bartholdi and his team were working hard. The statue would be made of copper, and it would be built in sections. It was so big that they had to build it piece by piece in France. After building each part, they tested it by assembling the whole statue in Paris first. Finally, after many years of hard work, the statue was ready to travel to her new home, New York City, USA. Part 2. The journey across the ocean and building the pedestal. In the last part, we learned how the Statue of Liberty was planned, designed, and built in France. Now we continue the amazing story. How this massive statue made its way across the Atlantic Ocean and stood tall in the land of freedom. The United States of America. The journey begins. It was the year 1885. The Statue of Liberty was completed in Paris, but it couldn't travel in one piece. It was too big, more than 150 feet tall when finished. So, the French workers carefully took the statue apart into 350 separate pieces. Each piece was marked with a number so it could be put together again like a puzzle. All the pieces were packed into 214 wooden crates. These large boxes were filled with copper parts, iron framework, bolts, and tools. The ship that would carry the statue was named Isère, a French Navy ship. In June 1885, Isère left France and began its long journey to America. The journey across the ocean was not easy. The ship faced rough weather, and the heavy crates made it difficult to sail smoothly. People in both France and America were nervous. If anything happened to the ship, years of hard work would be lost. But the sailors were brave and careful. After many weeks at sea, the Isère finally arrived in New York Harbor on June 17th, 1885. When the ship arrived, the people of New York were overjoyed. They held a huge celebration. Bands played music, people waved flags, and there were fireworks in the sky. It was a moment of joy and pride. But there was one big problem. The pedestal, the base for the statue, was not ready. Building the pedestal. The pedestal was very important. It had to be strong and large enough to support the massive statue. The chosen location was a small island in New York Harbor called Bedloe's Island, now known as Liberty Island. The island had a good view of incoming ships and symbolized a welcome to new immigrants. The design of the pedestal was done by Richard Morris Hunt, a well-known American architect. He planned a stone base that was around 89 feet tall. It was shaped like a square fortress and made from concrete and granite. But money was still short. Even though many Americans had donated through Pulitzer's newspaper, it was not enough. The U.S. government and big companies were not helping much, so once again, ordinary people stepped in. Children gave pennies. Workers donated small coins. Fundraisers, events, and plays were held to collect more money. Slowly, brick by brick, the pedestal was built. Hundreds of workers labored every day. They used hammers, shovels, and scaffolding to lift and set the heavy stones. By April 1886, the pedestal was complete. It was now time to reassemble the statue on top. Assembling Lady Liberty. Putting the statue back together was a huge challenge. Imagine building a giant copper puzzle, one piece at a time, high above the ground. A man named Gustave Eiffel, who later built the Eiffel Tower, had helped create the iron skeleton inside the statue. This strong iron frame would support the thin copper skin from the inside, like bones inside a body. Using cranes, scaffolds, and human power, workers lifted the pieces of the statue. First, they assembled the feet and robe. Then came the upper body, arms, and finally, the head. The most delicate part was the right hand, which held the torch. It was the highest part and had to be carefully fixed. It took 4 months to rebuild the statue. The workers faced hot summer days, strong winds, and dangerous heights. But they kept going. Every bolt, every plate, every beam had to be perfectly aligned. Finally, on October 28, 1886, everything was complete. The Statue of Liberty stood tall, shining in the sunlight, ready to welcome the world. Part 3. The Grand Unveiling and the Emotional Impact. Now, in Part 3, we witness her grand opening and the emotional effect she had on people all over the world. The day the statue came alive. The morning of October 28, 1886, was bright and full of excitement in New York City. Thousands of people gathered in the streets and on the shores to witness one of the most historic days in American history. It was the day Lady Liberty would be officially unveiled. Boats and ships filled the harbor. Their horns echoed loudly in celebration. On Liberty Island, a big crowd of special guests, journalists, and government officials arrived. Even President Grover Cleveland came for the ceremony. He was a former governor of New York and deeply proud of the statue. A giant French and American flag was placed over the statue's face to hide it until the right moment. A long stage was built near the pedestal. Speeches were planned, and musicians were ready to play joyful music. The speeches and the meaning one of the first speakers was Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, the man who had designed the statue. He was filled with emotion. Though he didn't speak much English, he knew the statue would be more than just a gift. It was a message of freedom, friendship, and peace. American officials also gave passionate speeches. They thanked the people of France and reminded the crowd that liberty was the foundation of the United States. President Cleveland stood in front of the crowd and said, "We will not forget that liberty has here made her home." At that very moment, the flag covering the statue's face was pulled down and the crowd cheered loudly. Cannons were fired from nearby forts. Ships honked their horns in joy. The celebration echoed across the city. Lady Liberty was no longer just a statue. She had become a living symbol of hope and freedom. What it meant for immigrants. During the late 1800s and early 1900s, millions of people from Europe were leaving their home countries to come to America. They were escaping poverty, war, hunger, and lack of freedom. These people came on crowded ships and arrived at a place called Ellis Island, very close to the Statue of Liberty. Imagine this. After weeks on a ship, tired, hungry, and scared, people saw the Statue of Liberty rising tall in the distance. For many, it was the first thing they saw in America. Women wept. Men removed their hats. Children stared in awe. For them, the statue was not just metal and stone. It was a promise. The promise of a better life. One immigrant from Italy later said, "We didn't understand English, but we understood her." That's the power of a symbol. No matter what language you speak, freedom has a face, and it's Lady Liberty. A statue with many messages. The Statue of Liberty wasn't just about freedom from kings or emperors. It had many deeper meanings. 1. Freedom of speech. In America, people were free to say what they believed. 2. Freedom of religion. People could pray and live their faith without fear. 3. Equal opportunity. In America, your background didn't define your future. 4. A new start. Immigrants could build a life with hard work and dreams. These ideas were carved into the heart of the statue. One of the most famous parts is the poem by Emma Lazarus, written on a plaque inside the pedestal. It says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." These words were like a gentle hand reaching out to every soul seeking safety and dignity. The world reacts news of the Statue of Liberty spread around the world. Newspapers in Europe, Africa, and Asia wrote about the event. Some countries celebrated the friendship between France and America. Others were inspired to build their own symbols of freedom. People wrote songs, books, and poems about her. Artists painted her image. She became more than a statue. She became a global idea. For Americans, Lady Liberty reminded them to stay true to their country's values. For immigrants, she was a welcoming mother. For the world, she was a light in the darkness. Part 4. Lady Liberty. Through time, wars, changes, and her powerful message. In this part of the Statue of Liberty's history, we move beyond her grand unveiling. Now we'll look at how she stood strong through wars, challenges, and a changing world, and how her message of freedom became more powerful with time. After the celebration, daily life on Liberty Island. After the grand ceremony in 1886, the Statue of Liberty became an official part of the United States Lighthouse Board. That might sound strange, but it's true. In her torch, there was a light beacon, like a lighthouse, to help ships in New York Harbor. However, the light was not very bright, so it wasn't very helpful for sailors. Still, Liberty Island became a special place. Soldiers were stationed there to protect the harbor. Visitors from across the country came to see the beautiful statue. Some climbed the long stairs inside her body to reach the crown and look out at the sea. For many, it was more than just a visit. It was like standing inside a dream. The world at war. Statue as a symbol of hope. In the early 1900s, the world changed very quickly. World War I broke out in 1914. Millions of people were affected. Though the war was far away, the Statue of Liberty became a strong symbol of what America stood for. During the war, the U.S. military used Liberty Island to keep watch over the harbor. They built storage rooms and gun placements nearby. At the same time, Liberty's image appeared in posters, books, and newspapers to encourage people to fight for peace and freedom. Then came World War II in 1939. Again, the world was in danger. Again, the Statue of Liberty reminded people of why freedom was worth fighting for. For soldiers sailing off to war, many remembered seeing the statue one last time before heading into the unknown. For immigrants and refugees, she was still the sign of a better life. One soldier once said, "When we came back home and saw her again, we knew we were safe." That's how much she meant. A symbol of coming home, of surviving, of never giving up. Repairs and restorations. Keeping the lady strong over time, weather and pollution began to affect the statue. The green color you see today came naturally as the copper skin reacted with air and water. This color actually protects the statue, but other parts began to weaken. In the 1930s, President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered some repair work. But the biggest project came many years later. In 1986, to celebrate the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty, a major restoration project was started. Workers from America and France joined together, just like in the beginning. They replaced the torch, repaired the internal iron frame, and cleaned the statue from top to bottom. It took 2 years and cost millions of dollars, but it was worth it. On July 4th, 1986, America celebrated Liberty Weekend. Fireworks, concerts, and ceremonies were held all across the country. The message was clear. We still believe in freedom. Liberty as a teacher. What we learn from her. The Statue of Liberty is not just beautiful. She's a teacher. When you visit her, you learn many things. 1. She teaches about freedom, not just political freedom, but the freedom to live your life with dignity. 2. She teaches about hope. Even when life is hard, there is always light ahead. 3. She teaches about unity. People from different places came together to build her. That's how powerful things are made. Together. 4. She teaches about strength. She stands tall in every storm. She shows us how to be strong too. Many school children in America learn about the Statue of Liberty early in life. Teachers explain that she is not just American. She belongs to all people who love freedom. A new face for a new century. As the 2000s began, the Statue of Liberty remained an important part of American life. But things changed after September 11th, 2001. After the terrorist attacks in New York City, the statue was closed for safety. It took many years before visitors could enter her again. Still, Even during hard times, Lady Liberty continued to inspire. She reminded people to stay united, to protect each other, and to defend their values. In 2019, the Statue of Liberty Museum was opened near the statue. This new building teaches people about the statue's history, design, and deeper meaning. It has photos, videos, and real pieces from the original construction. Now, new generations of children, immigrants, and tourists can learn about the power of liberty in an exciting way. Part 5. The Statue of Liberty in Modern Times. A light that never fades now. In Part 5, we will explore how the Statue of Liberty lives on in modern times. In our minds, in pop culture, and in the hearts of people from all around the world. A symbol that goes beyond borders. The Statue of Liberty is not only a symbol for the United States. She has become a world symbol, representing human rights, freedom of thought, kindness, and opportunity. No matter where you live, in India, Brazil, Egypt, or Japan, when you see the image of the Statue of Liberty, you understand the message. And this is powerful. A statue made of metal and stone speaks to the hearts of millions, even without words. People who live in countries without full freedom still dream about a life where they can speak freely, study what they want, and live safely. For them, Lady Liberty is like a silent promise, a sign that freedom is worth fighting for. Liberty in movies, TV, and art. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most famous landmarks in the world, and that's why she appears in many movies, TV shows, posters, cartoons, and even video games. Let's look at a few examples. In the movie Planet of the Apes, 1968, the broken statue shows a future where humanity has fallen. In The Day After Tomorrow, 2004, she stands in the middle of a massive storm, showing strength during a natural disaster. In X-Men, Ghostbusters 2, and even animated movies like Madagascar, the statue is featured as a powerful or funny figure. In all these examples, whether the world is ending or beginning again, the Statue of Liberty is shown as important, powerful, and unforgettable. Even artists around the world use her image. Sometimes they draw her with tears, showing sadness about injustice. Sometimes they show her holding a book and a flower, meaning education and peace. She's like a blank page for people to express their dreams. A tourist destination with emotion. Millions of people visit the Statue of Liberty every year. Some come to see her because of history. Some want to take beautiful photos. Others come with tears in their eyes, because for them, she means more than just a statue. For immigrants, especially those whose families came to America many years ago, the statue is part of their family story. They feel proud, thankful, and even emotional when they visit her. One tourist from Mexico said, "My grandmother came here with nothing. When I stand under the statue, I feel her strength inside me." Another visitor from India said, "She's not just America's symbol. She belongs to everyone who loves freedom." That is the true power of this statue. She connects people, inspires them, and reminds them to believe. In education and school books, children in many countries learn about the Statue of Liberty in school. In the U.S., young students are taught who built the statue, what she represents, how her torch and crown have meaning, why her broken chains at her feet are so important. They represent breaking free from slavery and control. Some schools even ask students to write letters to the statue, telling her what freedom means to them. These letters are sometimes emotional, sweet, or even funny. One 10-year-old wrote, "Dear Statue Lady, I want to be free to eat candy and play. Thank you for helping people be free." Even in a simple way, these kids are learning the deep meaning of liberty. A powerful idea. Freedom that lives inside us. The world has changed a lot since 1886, when the statue first stood on Liberty Island. We now have smartphones, airplanes, artificial intelligence, and more. But some things never change. The value of freedom, the need for dignity, and the importance of kindness are just as strong now as ever before. The Statue of Liberty is a reminder, not just a monument. She reminds us that people deserve to live without fear. Every human life is important. We all have the right to dream and grow. That's why she still matters today. And that's why so many people feel connected to her even if they've never visited New York. Liberty in times of crisis. During difficult times, the Statue of Liberty becomes even more important. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many artists shared drawings of her wearing a mask. After social or political conflicts, people post her image to remind others to stand together. Even during natural disasters, she becomes a symbol of strength and recovery. In every crisis, Liberty reminds us not to give up. She tells us to be brave, to help each other, and to keep moving forward. Part 6. The hidden secrets and amazing facts about the Statue of Liberty. In this part, we are not just finishing a story. We are discovering the secrets, hidden meanings, and surprising facts that most people don't know about this incredible statue. This is the most exciting and mind-opening part. Let's begin the final chapter with wonder in our hearts and curiosity in our minds. The secret below her feet. Broken chains. Most people who look at the Statue of Liberty don't notice what lies beneath her feet. If you stand below and look carefully, you'll see broken chains and a shackled foot stepping forward. These chains represent freedom from slavery, freedom from fear, and freedom from oppression. The statue is not just standing still. She is walking forward. This small detail sends a huge message. Liberty is not quiet. She moves. She grows. She breaks what holds people back. It's a hidden symbol, but once you notice it, you'll never forget it. 354 steps. A journey to the crown. To reach the crown of the Statue of Liberty, a visitor must climb 354 narrow steps. That's like walking up a 22-story building. Why did they design it like that? Because the climb represents a personal journey. As you walk higher and higher, you feel tired, but you also feel excited. When you finally reach the top, you see the world in a new way. It's a perfect symbol of life. Success takes effort, but the view is always worth it. Her torch once lit up the sky. The torch of the Statue of Liberty is one of her most famous parts. But did you know the original torch actually glowed at night? In 1886, it had real light inside, using gas lamps. Later, it was changed to electricity. But over time, it started to leak water, and it became dangerous. So, in 1984, the original torch was removed and replaced with a new golden one. The old torch is now kept in the museum on Liberty Island. Some people still dream of seeing the statue shine like a real lighthouse again, guiding people with hope. Her face was modeled after a real person. Historians believe that the face of the Statue of Liberty was inspired by the mother of the French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. He deeply respected his mother and thought her face showed wisdom, strength, and peace. so he used her image when designing Liberty's expression. This fact adds a special touch to the statue. It's not just stone. It carries love, memory, and a piece of someone's real life. Hidden meanings in her measurements. Every part of the Statue of Liberty was designed with deep meaning. The tablet in her hand says, July 4 MDC Slexixi. This means July 4th, 1776, the American Independence Day. Her crown has 7 spikes, which represent the 7 continents and the 7 seas, a sign that liberty is for everyone. The height from heel to top is 151 feet, about 46 meters, and the entire structure with the pedestal is over 300 feet, 93 meters tall, taller than a 20-story building. Everything about her design is intentional, not random. Copies around the world. Did you know there are many copies of the Statue of Liberty? In Paris, France, there is a smaller statue that faces west, toward the original in New York, as a symbol of friendship. In Tokyo, Japan, there is a replica near the sea. In Las Vegas, Brazil, Pakistan, and Australia, smaller versions exist too. Why so many? Because people all over the world love what she stands for. Freedom, hope, and peace. She's more than just a U.S. symbol. She belongs to the world. The statue has been used to send messages. In times of crisis or protest, people often project lights or messages onto the statue. For example, in 2017, the words "Refugees Welcome" were projected onto the base. On special holidays, her face is lit in red, white, and blue. Some artists even use laser lights to give her a voice, to speak messages about equality, kindness, and truth. The statue becomes a canvas for hope in dark times. She almost didn't happen. Here's something surprising. The Statue of Liberty almost was never built. In the beginning, money was short. The U.S. couldn't raise enough funds for the pedestal. France also faced financial struggles. But one man, Joseph Pulitzer, ran a newspaper and asked people to donate small amounts. Thousands of people, rich and poor, sent in what they could. Some gave $1, some gave 50 cents. Even children sent pennies. Together, they made it happen. This shows a deep lesson. When people come together, anything is possible. Final thoughts. What we can learn, the Statue of Liberty is not just a statue. She is a reminder of freedom, symbol of friendship between nations, inspiration for dreamers, comfort to the tired and poor, teacher of history, courage, and hope. She teaches us that freedom is not easy. It must be protected, respected, and shared. Even today, in a world with technology and speed, people still look up at her and feel something deep and true inside. That feeling is liberty. We hope this journey through the history of the Statue of Liberty helped you improve your English, learn something new, and feel inspired. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.